Hey Geeks, and welcome back to the Geeksider Show. My name is Josh.
And I'm Anna.
And in this video, we're reviewing KILLJOYS Season 3, Episode 2, titled A Skinner Darkly.
If you haven't seen this episode and you want to avoid any spoilers, you're going to want to skip this video and come back later, because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler.
Alright, there was a lot of stuff that we really liked in this episode, but there were two things that we really didn't like, but first we'll talk about the stuff that we liked. First of all, Skinners, oh my gosh.
Skinners are awesome.
Yeah, they're really cool.
The lead chica of the Skinner...
Nico.
Oh my god, she's
awesome.
freaking amazing. Yeah. She looks so awesome. Like, her outfits are amazing. Her hair is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I love her different legs. I don't know if this is the same person or not, but there is a model who has a pointed leg that she uses on the runway, and it looked exactly like her leg. So I don't know if they took inspiration from that, or if this is that model and they're using her and just using other prosthetics as well. But it was amazing. Absolutely loved it. Loved her.
Her like dagger leg was really, I mean, first of all, it like grows. It like it expands.
It grows. Oh my god.
Which is ridiculous in the best possible way. It was really cool. A little bit silly, but in a very good way. I think she's awesome. I hope she comes back. They didn't kill her off, which is a good thing.
Yeah, they didn't kill her off, so I am crossing my fingers she comes back, because I would totally cosplay that character if I wasn't pregnant.
Also, they reunited Johnny with Dutch and Dav in this episode. It only took 2 episodes to do it. Most other shows, that would have been half the season, getting the gang back together. No, they did it in 2 episodes, which is great.
Yes, I'm so glad that he's back, because like it's Dutch and Davin are not so great on their own. Like, I actually don't enjoy watching them as much as when Johnny's with them. I
don't particularly care for Davin as a character, and having him alone with Dutch, I'm like, yeah, I just don't. Yeah, they need Johnny there to add a little bit more chemistry.
Yeah.
Also, there's a new crew member.
Yes.
With Johnny and Dutch and Dav, and her name just went whew, right out of my brain. But I like this character. She's a geek just like Johnny. I think she could be a possible new love interest for Johnny.
Maybe.
Although he's probably still, mourning over Potter. But in the future, who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like her and Johnny probably would hit it off.
Yeah, and I love how she totally fails the test.
Because she knew it was a test.
But it was because she had recognized right away that it was a test. And you could tell throughout her commentary through the entire mission that she knew it was a test. Like, she had figured it out almost from the get-go. And like,
which I didn't realize that the whole thing was VR.
Yeah, me either. But then looking back, I was like, oh my god, yeah, she totally realized it. Like, she kept saying stuff, and she had figured out that it was a test. So I love that she failed it and was booted off of what's his face's team.
Yeah, their handler.
Yeah. And Dutch went to her and was like, yeah, no, we're still gonna use you. Like,
he can do his.
She saw the brilliance in her recognizing immediately that it was a simulation. Like, she recognized that, and she was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, she could be a benefit to our crew. So, getting to our 2 big problems with this episode. The first one, they really kind of picked on geeks and nerds in this episode. Yeah.
Like, too much.
Yeah, like, way too much. It was like the first half of the episode was pretty heavy on the let's pick on nerds.
And it was mainly from Dav, which,
which is kind of...
He's totally like a bro dude, or a dude bro, or whatever.
But still...
So, I guess it makes sense for the character, but then also you gotta realize that
that's your audience.
Most science fiction fans are geeks and nerds, and you're gonna potentially alienate part of your fan base if you continue that kind of thing. And this episode was really heavy on the nerd hate.
Yeah, and I feel like had Dav made some nerd hate and Dutch corrected him immediately and called him out on it, and then he didn't do it again, it would establish his character. But still be respectful to the majority of the fans.
And spinning off of that, Dav is, and always has been, a douche.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're still having this will they, won't they thing with Dutch, I'm like, they need to squash that.
Yeah, it's
Dav
really
is
annoying.
Too much of a douche. I don't think Dutch would ever really see anything in him at all, ever.
No, nothing outside of just physical.
Yeah. So that needs to get squashed. I am over the Dutch and Dav ship.
Yeah.
The other thing in this episode that we really didn't like, and this is our chief dislike for this episode, is they didn't bring Stephanie Leonidas back to play Clara. No, they got a totally new actor to play the part, and they just, because, you know, the Skinners, new skin, they replaced Claire's face with a new face.
Yeah.
And replaced Stephanie.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like they're going to bring her back. It looks like she is going to be stuck in this skin. So that's incredibly disappointing.
Yeah. So I don't know if they just couldn't get Stephanie Leonidas back to play the part again, or if this was always the direction that the story was going to go. Either way, I don't like it. I figure if you're not going to get because Stephanie Leonidas is a pretty big name in the science fiction world. She played Orisa in Defiance, and she's done a lot of stuff. She's awesome, and this new actor I don't think really lived up to the part. Of course, she didn't know she was Clara for, you know, almost the entire time, but still.
If they couldn't get her back, they shouldn't have had her to begin with. I feel like that's something
they should have killed her off between seasons.
Or just killed her off, and like restarted. I don't know. Because I'm like, why would you start it with one actress and then switch it to another? It's like they only spent the money on Stephanie Leonidas for a couple of episodes, and then with the intention of replacing her later on because it was too expensive to keep her. And I would have rather them just chose somebody else.
Speaking of money, though, it does seem like they've gotten a boost on their special effects budget. The show looks fantastic in these first 2 episodes. It looks amazing. So, like, I'm really uneven on this episode. I can't decide if I really liked it or not. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It just had some stuff in it that I didn't like. So, I think that's all we have for this video. If you have anything to add, let us know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this review, you can tell us by dropping a like on it and subscribe for more reviews and share this video on social media.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.